I'm Judy Zelina, and this is the Mill Creek Government Channel. Today on our program, we are going to be talking about an organization, Africa 6000 International. And Africa 6000 International is a nonprofit, and it is committed to drilling freshwater wells across the continent of Africa to help alleviate 6,000 child deaths in Africa per day, simply because they have no clean water to drink or to bathe in. To talk about Africa 6000 International, I have joining me Joe Prishak, and Joe is the president and the founder of Africa 6000 International. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
What I want to know, Joe, right off is, because of course you're a familiar figure in Erie County here, but I want to know how Africa 6000 International got started, and also what made you decide to turn from entrepreneur to nonprofit founder? What was the drive? What was the reason?
Well, I went to Africa in December of 2006. That was my sixth trip to Africa. Mm-hmm. And every time I went there, I would see these little children dying in front of you because they didn't have clean water. Now, children under the age of 6 have little or no immune system, so they're very susceptible to picking up all kinds of diseases from contaminated water, while adults can drink the water and not have too many ill effects. So it's very important that they have clean water. Also, the women and children of the village would have to walk 6-8 hours a day just to get a couple of buckets of water, which, like I said, most of the time was contaminated anyway. So when I got back, I thought, well, I'm retired, and I have the wherewithal to do something about it. And so I decided that I'm going to try to help these children, help these people of Africa. Their need was great. It still is great. I think every day it's improving because we're not the only ones that are doing water projects there. A lot of water wells being drilled, and mm-hmm. So it's helping them, not only their health, but all in the respect of drinking good, clean water, but also they use water for irrigation and feeding the water to the animals and raising cattle and so forth.
The name is interesting, Africa 6000. Where did that name come from?
Well, it's kind of ironic. We had another name picked out for it originally, but when you register names, you find out, well, somebody already has that name. So we decided to have a little bit of a contest, and some girl from Pittsburgh came up with the idea of the name Africa 6000, which denotes the 6,000 children that are dying every day, or were dying every day, from the lack of clean water, from the waterborne diseases that they get. It's now coming down to where they're not 6,000 a day, it's something under that, but every day it gets better.
That amazes me. 6,000 child deaths a day.
A day.
Per day because of not clean water.
Yes.
Now your main mission is drilling freshwater wells.
Right.
Okay. But where do the funds come from to drill these wells, Joe?
Well, we have fundraisers. We have a dinner in November, and then we have a golf outing this July 11th. We also have donors that are very, very connected to this. They want to help too, and so we have some donors that continually donate. We have churches and various groups and organizations that have fundraisers and help us come up with the funds.
And how much have you been able to raise in the last 4 years?
Well, so far we've raised over $500,000, and possibly by the end of this year we'll be close to $750,000.
That is absolutely wonderful. Now, when you talk about raising this money, the dollars, what do the dollars raised mean in the terms of number of wells drilled?
Well, it all depends on where the wells are drilled, but of course, the average borehole well costs about $10,000 to drill. Then on top of that, we have holding tanks and plumbing and pumps, and if there's electric there, we put electric pumps there. In all cases, they put hand pumps. If there's no electricity, we put up windmills or solar pumps. So altogether, a complete operational well can cost upwards to $25,000 by the time it's complete.
Okay, you have a partner. It's WorldServe International. How do they play into this, Joe?
Well, WorldServe International is another organization that works in Africa, and we work together with them in raising funds and finding the villages that are the most needy for water, and also we're tied in, connected with a company called Magitech, which is does charitable work, drills wells at no charge to some of the charities, and also it is a connection for us to be able to drill our water wells and find the right villages. We work with the Assemblies of God there in the churches, and they find the neediest to drill.
Okay. Explain to our viewers what exactly is involved. You decide, well, I'm just going to drill a well. You just bring something in and bore a hole. What is actually all involved in the whole process, Joe?
Well, the biggest thing is getting the well drilling rig there, because some of the back roads in some places there aren't even roads that we have to get these drilling rigs into. That's a big challenge. And then not only that, but the supplies, the casing, and all the other supplies necessary for the wells, as well as pumps and windmills or whatever we put up there. Getting them to the area, to the site, is probably one of the biggest challenges.
And you make sure, that it's a needy area. How do you make sure of that?
Well, like I said, we have religious organizations we work with that find a need, and then we have a team that goes out and surveys the area.
Okay, so they're actually right on site.
Right, and they find where the best place to drill would be and so forth. There's plenty of water in Africa, but you have to drill down to get it. It's rather deep as compared to what we get here, but they get good clean water. But there again, like I said, the villages can't afford, they don't have the money to drill the wells with.
So the groundwater team actually has a questionnaire that has been filled out before they even go to check the site.
Right. They have a questionnaire they have to fill out, showing their need and how many people and some of the demographics and everything. And then if they qualify, then the WorldServe has a team they send out, and they find out more details about it, and then if they qualify, then they get the well. Of course, it's got to be close. It's got to be somewhere where we have drilling rigs too along the way, because we don't want to be moving drilling rigs from one end of the country to the other end and then back and forth. So we try to do it in sequence so that we hit quite a few villages as we go.
So that's one of the factors on how you decide where to drill also. If you're in that area, and then if there's a need close to that area, instead of back forth.
And there is a need everywhere.
You know, I keep going back to how when you went over there and you observe these children dying right in front of you.
They die right in front of you. You stand there long enough and you'll see them die. And they have, you know, poor little children, bloated stomachs. They're sick with just all kinds of diseases and flies all over them. And the next thing you know, you see them falling over, and they die right there.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, so it kind of makes you cry.
Oh my goodness. Now, who drills the wells? Is it people that you send over, or is it people that are in place over there already?
Well, working with Magitech and WorldServe, we have actually Africa 6000, we own 2 well drilling rigs of our own, and Magitech operates them, and they have the teams, they have all the operators and everything. They're trained, and there's 2 people here from the United States down there pretty much running the whole operations.
Okay. All right. Where are you drilling right now? What's going on right now?
Well, we're drilling in Kenya and Tanzania and
All right.
in some of the different areas of those countries.
Mm-hmm. Now, as we're talking, I know many of our viewers out there are saying, you know, how can I help? How can they get involved? How can our viewers get involved with this
Well,
job?
there's many ways they can get involved. If they're adventurous, they can go do the climb in Kilimanjaro when we have our next climb. It's a fundraising thing, and then, of course, they can donate. They can come to our dinner. They could come to participate in our golf outing, and all of those fundraising things are the way we raise our money.
What's the climb? What is that?
Well, Kili Climb, we had one last year in conjunction with World Serve. Teresa's in charge of that. And of course, everybody knows Teresa Mertland.
Teresa Mertland.
She's the executive director of Africa 6000, and one of the most hardworking people you ever find.
Yes, she is.
But Teresa was in charge of that last year, and she's going to have another one going this coming year, I believe. Well, anyway, what it is I think they had 43 people climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and that was a fundraiser. That happened last January. Out of the 43, I think 27 made it to the top. It's quite challenging.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be up to that.
Well,
I'd wait on the bottom with hot chocolate for you guys.
You don't
coming
have
back
to go
down.
to the top to enjoy it, because I heard people say that, wow, even going halfway up, they really enjoyed the climb. So
That is such an unusual fundraiser type of thing. Leave it to Teresa to come up with that one.
yeah, well, Teresa's trying to get Bill Clinton to climb with, well, she's after a lot of celebrities.
Well, if anyone
to
can
try
get
to
Bill Clinton climbing that, she's
that's
the
what-
one that can do it, Joe.
That's on his bucket that's on his bucket list. So she's wrote him several letters, and actually, I guess we're probably going to see him this toward the end of the month. We're going to a fundraiser in Minneapolis, Minnesota for Bill Austin. He owns Starkey Hearing Aids, and there's going to be quite a few celebrities there. And Teresa's going along, and she's going to try to convince Bill Clinton in climbing. If he does, it's going to be quite a climb.